Alright, we're back at another segment for the 1933 5-window Dodge Coupe. And today I'm going to express a few things. And the first thing I'm going to express is that all the stuff is ready for paint. Well, first it has to be all pressure washed. So some of my concern is on the lighter pieces like the front fenders and maybe not so much the back quarter fenders because they're attached, pressure washing them underneath and everything all the way around. But it's going to be a little tricky. And even the front grille, the grille support, all that's got to be pressure washed. And, oh yeah, those running boards are definitely going to be a treat. And so the other like corner pieces that attach to the body, to the running boards. Yeah, they're going to be fun too. So I got to figure out something to keep them anchored really well because I got to pressure wash both sides. And that will lead me then into the next thing that I'm going to do a little bit of advertising. So if you don't want to see the advertisement, then bicycle. Now, I don't know if you ever seen that other fella who fixes transmissions on them big road trucks. He is good at what he does, I believe, because I've had my fair share of fixing those 880-pound big transmission, those Eaton transmissions. The ones in the road tractors, tractor trailers, and some straight trucks, those big transmissions, yeah, they weigh that much. Because when I was fixing them from time to time, while I worked at a place where I took care of their fleet, I was the only mechanic on 18 road tractors and straight trucks, 22 trailers, and 9 forklifts, and 2 buildings. All of a sudden, I became their maintenance man on their building, from doing plumbing work to fixing anything in there, because they knew I had the experience, so they took advantage of it. I kind of allowed it. I didn't mind so much, but after a while, you realize that they're just taking advantage of you, and it's time to move on. They don't come through on their promises. That's with a lot of companies, so I'm not just pointing out that particular company. But hey, life, you learn, you move on. But that fellow there, he likes to use the term bicycle. You don't like the advertisement, then bicycle. This is another tool, advertisement, so bicycle. In the beginning, I used to think, did the guy know how to ride a bike? Did he need a bike? Did he want a bike? He wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle? I don't know, somebody to donate him a bike, someone to teach him to ride a bike? I wasn't really sure. In the very beginning, I heard that with the term, you don't like it, then bicycle. Not that it's really that hard to figure out, but I felt it was kind of weird. Maybe he should have a part-time job. He can load up a truck with all the tools that he either buys or gets donated. I'm not really sure. I probably buys them. He should go out on the road and sell those tools. Some of them are pretty good, and some of them maybe not so good. I'm not really sure. But then he can go back to fixing his transmissions and stuff, which I mentioned. He's probably good at it. Not trying to take that away from him. Just his southern accent with the bicycle. But anywho, all frame, body, fenders, trunk deck, hood, running boards, all ready for paint. But still waiting. Still waiting for Summit to do their thing. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but I learned this. And I'm kind of surprised at the other person who's helping me with certain parts of the car. They're obviously not here every day doing everything that I'm doing on the car, but the client wanted that person to help on certain spots. So, hey, no problem. Like I said before, I like working with that person. But I'm really shocked in that person's experience that they didn't order that through some sort of part house locally instead of going on the internet to find it, because when it comes to gears for a rear end, you're not getting a better deal. I don't even know if you can find it easier. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but the fact that you got to wait for it, and then the fact that if you're going online and you're not actually going to speak with somebody at that facility that you're going to be purchasing it from, then you're taking a risk. That's my experience. My experience has taught me well. I have not, in the past, ever ordered any gear changing ratio gears for any rear, for any vehicle that I've done, never ordered it online. Always went to whatever part house that carried them, and if the one supposedly had them, and you saw them, and you took them to your shop and said, these ain't right, and you bring them back, that's the key right there. You can bring them back right then and there. And then you try the next set, if that's the case. But I'm really disappointed. And when I found out where they were coming from, it made it even more disappointing because Summit Racing fails to tell you something very important. Oh yeah, 2 to 3 days, ship it out. Well, no. Because I researched that and asked them directly, oh, so I should receive it by, 2 or 3 days later, like if it would be Thursday or Friday. Oh, no, you won't get it, but it'll be shipped within that 2 to 3 days, and then it takes 3 to 4 days before you get it, maybe longer, and that could depend on the company that they're getting it from if they didn't have it in stock. So, this is how it works with Summit Racing. And they can call me if they like to try to, discuss this. That's fine and dandy. But when you place that order, it takes them 2 to 3 business days for that order actually to get shipped out. So the 2 days, because some of these people, I think, work from home, so by the time they turn their orders in, either by the end of the day or the next day, and then the main plant of where the stuff is at, and they receive the order, and then that order gets put out for one of the dock workers to go and get it, and by the time they get it, and then they actually put it through the processing, and then by the time processing is done, and then it gets a shipping label, and then by the time it gets shipped out, or whether UPS is picking it up or FedEx is picking it up, by the time that gets done, there's where your 3 days might come in, if not 4 days, before it gets shipped. Then, like I said, you're going to wait a minimum of 3 days, if not longer. So before you know it, 7 days, if not 8 days, have gone by before you even see the part. Not worth it. Not worth it. I don't care. That's my opinion. I've dealt with it. I know it well. So for all you cats out there that have not experienced that yet, because you haven't ordered from them yet, well, don't do it. Order from another company, or better yet, go to a parts house close to you, whether it's Advance, AutoZone, it could be Napa, it could be any one of those places out there. It could be some other off-brand name in your area that carries auto parts. I'd go there first. And this way you can open the box and see for yourself or whether or not it's what you're looking for and say, no, this isn't right. I need something else. But that's that on that whole avenue. I'm hoping, because I'm still waiting for the gears, and I've been putting everything off to get them changed out so that we can get it in the rear so that I can paint it all at once, because I don't want to do it after the fact. No, I don't want to paint everything and then put the chunk back in after it's been painted. I don't want to do that. But if you really need with them, I would order it at least 2 weeks in advance before you actually need it. 2 weeks in advance. Well, matter of fact, you better go longer than that. You better go a month in advance. Because if you don't get the right part, and you got to ship it back, well, you got to wait for them to email you a shipping label, because it's free return. You get the shipping label, and then you get yourself to whatever, whether it's UPS or FedEx, and then they take it, and they ship it back. By the time they receive it, when they receive it, and they put it back on their shelf, that's when they'll send you the next one. Hopefully the right one. And then it's another 3 or 4 days before you get it. And if it's coming from a different vendor, well, it's going to take longer. So just keep all that in mind. Order it a month ahead of time. A month. So that if it's got to be returned, by the time you actually need it, and if it goes back and forth once or twice, you'll have it in your hand when you need it. It's just my advice. Take it as you will. Use it if you want to. If you don't, throw it away. So the other thing I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to be doing, that I know the client really isn't aware of, but it needs to be done It's not expensive. And I went and picked up those materials yesterday, and along with a couple other things I needed to finish prepping the body. And I'm going to show you what it is and talk about it and show you where it'll be applied and when. So, and that'll give me more time, and then I'm going to get into the next subject. So let's take you over to the material. As you can see, it is a bed liner from spray from Raptor. I've used this quite a few times. It is a good product for what I use it for. I don't know if I've never used it on a bed of a truck. I better lower this. I don't want a good old YouTube saying I stole their music or something. But for what I use it for, it works really well. And I take it a step further. I use pretty sure you might be able to see it, read it, I hope, a tenable bed liner. And what that means is whatever color I'd like to see, within reason, mind you, you'd have to go through more preparations than what I would go through to really show a real deep color, whether it's purple, yellow, green, orange, red, whatever it is. This is tintable, and that means I will be mixing in the yellow for the car into that bed liner. I don't want it to show up black, and it doesn't come out black. It comes out like a milky looking color. And where I'll be using that is underneath the cab of the car. Okay, not necessarily this spot, but all underneath the cab that I pointed out before. I got to clean it up some, but and then also I'll be spraying all underneath the quarter fenders, the front fenders, such as that, and even the running board, spraying that. And the reason why I want to use the tintable and throw the yellow in there, it'll really be really super nice, and it'll help show off the black that the frame will be. Yeah, it'll stand out. I don't want to have black on top of black and really not showing, the difference. So that is the reason why I usually buy tintable. And I believe the company that put the bed liner in my TRX, I think they might have used the same material. And I told them what I wanted, because I'm a strange kind of individual and I don't follow everybody else's path. I do my own thing. As you can see the front of this, I did the red in there, the red in there, the red on the bottom. Everybody likes to paint those hooks red or orange. Not me. Sorry, not happening. And I matched the red that came in the truck, on the truck, and then the red that's inside the interior in certain areas. So I wanted my bed liner to be red. And I told them that. And they did that. It's dirty in there, but as you can see, it's red. Now, probably most people wouldn't do this, but I did. That's what I wanted. So I know they had to paint the bed first red, then they mixed the color in with it, then I believe they painted the red over, because I told them I wanted it to be red, and they've accomplished that. And I like that. And whether other people do or don't matter to me none. I really don't care. It's not their truck. They didn't buy it. They're not paying for it or whatever else. But I also did basically the teeth, as I would call them, also in red, and got myself one of them. It was a gift. Yep. So that's what I mean by I think they did the same thing, and I believe they did use a Raptor, and I know if they did, they used the tintable one. So it comes a complete kit, and the one thing I believe they include is the spray gun, and I have several of them. It's not like I needed it, but if you were to buy one of these cans, because you can get it separate, one of these cans with the activator, it's almost like $70. That's crazy. And for each one. So if you only needed a half a gallon, you're spending $140 and you don't get the spray gun. But if you already have one, then it doesn't matter. But $140 for 2 of those cans with 165, 170, whatever it is, you get 4 cans. So I know I'll have enough to do what I'm looking to do, and it'll come out beautiful. And I know the client will love it. And it's really to protect the underneath, because there's a lot of surface rust that I'll be cleaning up. So to give it a little bit more longevity, and I think it has a little bit of soundproofing to it, that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's why I'm doing it. So that actually, I'm not being sponsored by them once again, but I don't have a problem talking about products that I've used that nobody is sponsoring me for anything. But I let people know because I use it, and if it works for them, then great. If they try it and they didn't like it, they don't use it, that's great too. But also last night, part of my time was these power vents. I got 3. There's 2 there, and then there's 1 over there. Yep, 1 over there. And take the grills off, and then I clean the outside of the motors in there because they got fins. And over a period of time, some paint gets on there, and I don't want that fin not to do what it's supposed to do and extract the heat. I don't want the paint to cause any more reduction of that. So I took them apart, all of them, cleaned them really good, and gotten them ready. And those tubes go on the end of it. And I know I've shown them in prior videos. I don't need them kicking off when I'm using it. But being that this is all done, my next thing is to get prepared inside the spray booth. So I will blow it up, and I will go in there with a blower and blow all whatever dirt and dust out. And then I'm going to bring the pressure washer in and clean that thing out really well. So that's my next move. And once it is up and cleaned out, I'll chime back in and show you. But until then, stand by. Okay, I'm back. And it is been blown out and then pressure washed. Yeah, you'll get to see nice and wet. Looks like shiny. But I pressure wash everything from the top, down the sides, and the cage that's in here, the lights, the fans. I pressure wash all of it. The filters, the ones back there, as well as the ones that are on the side. And then the final is pressure washing the floor and all the way out. Yeah, there she is set up. Yep, I don't want to step in there because I think I got dirt on my feet. But it'll, by tomorrow it should be dry. Sure it will be. I know the shell of it is just about there because of the air blowing through there. But I'll take you around the other side where the AC system is. Yeah, I took the return out of there so I can actually pressure wash inside that section there. And I noticed that the big 14-inch tube, it feels wet in there. So it got wet. I'm going to have to make sure it dries. So I'm going to get it out in the sun. So that actually is in the center section. This, not center, but this area here where you would set up, you know, to put your paints and so forth and work out of it. And there's Puss in Boots. She's giving her tail up on inspection. Yeah. Giving me a little body hug. I think maybe she wants to eat, but she's got food there. And here's the other tube that actually puts the cold air in. Yeah, I don't have it on, obviously, but that's a 5-ton unit, and that's to help keep the environment inside this booth at a reasonable temperature so that I can do the best I can in applying everything from sealer to the clear coat. You can see some water seeping out. I had to do some duct tape and some of the plastic clear stuff. The good thing about this material, if it gets a hole in it, you sew it. and I already had to do that a few months back. Yeah, worked out well because the whole thing is sewn together. If I ever have to get another one, I think I'm going to go the next size up, which is the largest you can get. This is pretty big. I think this whole thing is like 39 feet long. It's 13 feet high, or yeah, somewhere around there, 13.6. So the width could be 12 feet, something like that. So it's a pretty big spray booth. Can't imagine how much bigger the next one is up, but I think that would help considering how much and how big some of the stuff is, especially the trucks that I've been painting. So we'll see. Hopefully I don't need one for a while. Yep. So I think that's it for now. Tomorrow I'll lay down plastic down the whole thing, and then I'll roll the frame in with the rest of the parts that are going to be black and get it set up and ready. And all I can do is hopes that the part comes in the meantime. And if I'm going to let it wait one more day, then I will be undercoating, like I mentioned, all this stuff. But in the meantime, until then, tomorrow's another day, so see you then. Okay, I'm back, and I started preparing the cab only to do the bed liner underneath the car. So once I get the car on the lift, I'll finish actually using the paper to paper off the rest of the bottom. This is, I guess, the width of this plastic for doing this kind of work covered the car. So I got to move a whole lot of stuff out of the way and get it over on the lift and mix up whatever I'm going to need to spray the underneath and get that much of it done. And I will then at that point pull out the yellow and really get a view on it as far as the paint goes. So once I get it over there and I got it on the lift and I have it papered off the rest of it and I'm ready to do my thing, I will prime back in there and show you what's going on. So until then, stand by. Alright, I'm back. Car is on the lift. It's covered. Even parts of the lift is covered. And obviously I wanted as high as I could take it. And what I'm going to do is, oh, there goes Puss in Boots. She's running out of the building. She's a little strange today. But there's 4 bolts sticking down here. And I'm sure it has something to do with the body panel kit. So I'm going to cover these. I don't want any of this stuff covered with that. And then I'm going to take the wire brush over some of the areas, clean it up, cover up tape wise, anything else that might be popping through. And then I'm going to mix up the stuff. But first I'm going to put down all the cardboard around on the floor because the stuff does make a mess. I've done this before. So I'm going to make sure I'm well prepared and go from there because I want to get it done and out of the way, at least this way, as I'm waiting for the gears to come in. Today's Wednesday afternoon. They still have not shown up. A real disappointment. But, you know, it is what it is. And earlier this afternoon, we went and delivered just the engine to my machine shop that I deal with. The person that was, I guess, left in charge, if you want to put it at that, left to take care of the engine with the machine shop. That guy was able to get the heads done, but after that, he just, I guess, didn't have enough time. Still don't know how much time he would have taken to actually get the block done and do right by the block. And he's already had it for 6 weeks. So I think a little bit of maybe Micromanaging maybe on certain things need to be done when it comes to stuff like that. Stay on top of the companies that you're dealing with just in case. Because, you don't want time to keep lapsing and going and going. They want to obviously get all the work that they can. So they're going to tell you what they want. But the fellow I deal with, I don't have to worry about that. I don't deal with that silliness. And it was a bit of a disappointment this morning to read that text message about, going to another place to get the machine work done. But, it happens, I guess. Not when I'm doing it. I'm just saying. Just saying. But anyway, just to reassure, I actually threw some clamps up there in the front just to make sure nothing's going anywhere. Let me show you. You see the clamps, clampets. Weight-wise, just in case. I didn't have that problem before, but security is a good thing for me anyway. But let me get things mixed up so I can get this thing sprayed and move on. So until then, stand by. All right, I'm back. And it's been sprayed. Now it's dry. I let a little time go by. Came out really nice. I love it. And once that nice glossy black frame is underneath there, that frame's going to pop. Big time. Like pop goes the wheel. Pop. That's right. Now I'm going to give you a little bit more of a close-up. Absolutely. Yeah. It's pretty bright yellow. Looks a little different in the can. I'm glad it lightened up. I don't know how it's really showing through the camera, but I'm digging it. Yep. Got all of it. Looks really nice. So the next thing is going to be, and I'll do it tomorrow because I still don't have the gears yet for that rear. I'm getting a little annoyed with that. I'm really disappointed all the way around in the way a couple of things have been getting handled with my outside help. And that ain't going to happen again. And I'm not trying to offend anybody or hurt their feelings, but I don't do things like that. But back to the case at hand here. I got to be able to flip these things over, put them on something soft so they don't get scarred, scratched in any way. These are pretty big. I'm glad they're not heavy, but I want to be able to spray underneath there the same way I did the underneath of the car, and the same thing with the running boards and these pieces here. So that's going to be a task. I got to tape it all off, paper it, all that stuff, get it all covered, and figure out how I'm going to do that very carefully and get it done. So that's going to be tomorrow's adventure. Tomorrow is Thursday, and you guys will be seeing this video. And this is going to end this segment of this beautiful 33 Dodge 5-window coupe. Yep. And then the next step for this really is going to be to pressure wash the whole thing and re-paper and tape, because I got to pull all the paper off, like the windows and stuff, but all this dressing is going to come off. I'll take it off tomorrow. And but nevertheless, that's going to be the next step for that. And if I can't do the gears yet for the rear and get that out of the way, then maybe I can consider painting this first. I don't know, I'm going to have to think about it. I want to be able to keep moving on it. I have other projects that got to come in and get done, and I don't want this job to get prolonged any longer for any reason whatsoever. But I'm going to do my best to figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm going to lower this back down on the little carts there so I can get it back over where it belongs and clean up. clean up this mess on the floor, and go from there. But in the meantime, like I said, this ends this segment. I do appreciate people watching. Hopefully I can get more people to subscribe to the channel. And until the next one comes out, try to get something done. Thanks for watching.